North Avenue Bakery, Hotel Praia Sol, Luis Firmino Insurance, MCM Clinic, Top Burger, Go Car Services, Coimbra Restaurant.
In a different galaxy altogether that we are living in. I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again. And watch it, drink it in. Oh, you beauty! What a head, son! What a
I guess you can. I guess I started with me. Welcome back, guys, to Golden International, our weekly Yap session. I wasn't here last week, but I'm always happy to be back. Guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming, like always. Thank you, John. You know, can't wait to have your analytical thoughts, you know. And I guess we can start with the sacks. The sacks keep coming, and they just don't stop coming. Sean Dyche got fired, and Thomas Frank got fired. I want to talk about Thomas Frank first, because what is the point in firing Ange for a year later? You're in the same position, but with no prospect of winning, as far as I could tell, a European trophy this year. Well, what do you guys have thoughts on this whole Spurs situation?
Yeah, I mean, do you want me to go first? You're looking over at me.
You go first.
Listen, I think it's no secret. I mean, if you've watched us before, I personally rate Thomas Frank quite a bit. I thought he was a great coach, and I thought he was a good fit at Tottenham, especially considering what he did with Brentford last year. However, the writing's been on the wall. Honestly, since I think their best moment may have been right at the beginning of the season,
For sure.
at the Super Cup.
It
was their best performance.
When they blew it to PSG with like 2 minutes left.
Yeah, and I think Tottenham, Thomas Frank did not have the backing of the players. There's multiple little instances where you see poor body language, poor attitude. He did not have the backing or the spirit of the fans. And I think sometimes that happens, right? Like a coach could do really well somewhere, similar to, it almost speaks to the adaptability of some coaches, right? Like Ruben was unsuccessful ultimately due to his inability to be quiet about the upper management. However, he wasn't being very fluid about his system, his philosophy. And maybe Frank came into the Tottenham job thinking, I've got more of a runway. I could impose my philosophy in a sort of slower, chill way. The guys don't respect you. You guys are suddenly in a relegation battle.
Again.
Yeah.
And the board's and the board and the decision makers are like, yeah, get him out. We have no choice.
Do you think he kind of walked into a sinking ship already? I mean, honestly, the hope was there. They had just won the Europa League, you know.
Champions League.
That Spurs will always. It's the history of the Tottenham.
I mean, that's true. That
It
is
is
true.
like- it
That
is
is
a-
the
you know,
Spursy things.
Even a sinking ship may rise.
True.
It is a sinking ship. They're a poorly ran club, so it's no secret.
I mean,
I feel for Thomas Frank, honestly.
So do I. He'll be good.
we have me and Johnny were talking about it a little bit off air, and we have this perception, and I think it's just been thrown against the wall that Spurs are a Big Six club, and it's just not
They're
true.
not a Big Six club, right? Right.
And you can go in any sort of facet you want to bring it up, but when you talk about expectations, I think they always fall below what's expected for
Do you
them.
think they're
especially-
expecting too high for a club of their stature?
Well, if you talk about, and that's when me and you got into financial prowess, they're right there. They
Right.
make a ton of revenue. They just built a brand new $1 billion stadium.
Very true.
It's one of the nicest ones in Europe and the world. But again, I think the money is not spent in the right way. And it goes back to Ange today was in a podcast with Gary Neville, and he was saying Tottenham is just not a big club. And they asked him why. And he said you can't compare what they do, especially behind the scenes and what they succeed, but what they did, he compared it to Arsenal buying Declan Rice for $100 million. And that's a player that changes clubs and changes culture. And then he's like, we spent $100 million, bought Dominic Solanke and two young players, and expected to compete with the big boys. That's just not the truth.
Right,
And
right.
we can always go back to 10 years ago when they sold Bale for a whopping whatever
100 something,
Yeah,
right.
right. And that's a transfer that changes your club.
Right, and they brought
bought
in, like, 11
9 players,
right.
and none of them
Paulinho.
were none
Right,
of them
I
were
remember.
successful at the club, right?
Wasn't that when Ericsson went to the club also? Was it that same?
It might have been Ericsson,
Period.
or it might have been right after, but they bought like Soldado, who did nothing.
Right, right.
Ericsson is one of the best signings.
Yeah, but I
Out of
think,
that
I
group,
think,
for
I think
sure.
Ericsson was right
Right.
after, but they bought like Chadley, Paulinho, it was like all those guys.
Right.
Who
You
kind
know,
of were like,
Streets will remember kind of
yeah,
players.
right? Like,
I
they
think-
weren't needle movers.
I think what you see is like, you know, they're a big London club,
Yes.
but they don't have the financial backing that, say, a City and Arsenal. You know, these clubs have big investors that are willing to lose money.
Correct.
Right.
Tottenham is a beneficiary of having two immense homegrown talents come from the academy.
True.
Bale
Right.
and Kane.
Right.
Think about the
Well,
RO.
Bale didn't come from the academy.
Oh, he was just
Southampton.
yeah, exactly.
They bought him really young,
Right,
for
might
really,
as well,
really cheap.
right,
No,
might as
that's,
well.
Flip that
that's a
for-
great point. That's a great point.
for
So
a ton
left
of
back turn, left mid turn, right winger.
Turn whatever you want to be.
Turn
'cause
golf,
it's just-
uh,
yeah, turn golf style.
But my point is the following, and then there's a great ROI on Heung-min Son as well.
Yeah.
My point is the following: when you luck out on these generational talents, sometimes there's a facade of like, and we spent so much money on this new stadium.
Right.
There's this facade of like, oh, maybe they are a big club. And if you looked at the last decade, the first 5 years of it, they're definitely top 6 club. If you look at the latter 5 years, it's been super
Do you
turbulent.
think if they weren't a London club, do you think they would make be part of the Big Six? Because I feel like London is
Well, London brings in
carrying
so
a
much
lot
money.
of their.
Of course.
Right.
It's one of the most.
Like if they were from Birmingham or something.
Or if they were from like Newcastle, like up
Or
north,
Newcastle,
where
right,
nobody wants
exactly.
to go play,
Right,
it's
right.
very different, right?
Right.
It's so funny that you mentioned Birmingham because you guys may have had a chat before the episode.
We had
a group chat.
We had in our group chat a couple days ago. It was the same argument. Like, what is the difference between? I was speaking historically successful. Aston Villa is the top 6 club, and then when you compare it, and then I said even Everton and Newcastle are bigger clubs than Spurs. Spurs only became a big 6 club within the last
10 years.
Yeah, like
If
nobody
that.
used to talk about
Right.
Spurs like, oh wow,
They
like,
used to be the top 4,
they're a contender for Champions League.
and
every
then
year. Like, that was
City,
never a thing.
City, forced their way in by becoming super
Correct.
rich and winning, and then it kind of just seems like while the door was open, Spurs kind of just ran in there behind
Well,
them.
it was like if we always think about it, it's like I think there's a big 3. Like there's Liverpool, United, and Arsenal, right? Like those are
The big three, for sure.
historic.
Right.
And then Chelsea in the last 25 years
Became that.
became that. Once
Right.
Abramovich came in and Mourinho came in and they changed the way Chelsea was looked at and they
Right.
were consistently
And
winning.
then City, the same thing.
And then City, in obviously like 10 years after Chelsea, that started happening. So you're looking at like 5 clubs, right?
Right.
And then like everyone throws in Spurs and they just don't win. So I don't know what like
It's
they
the
don't win
money,
FA
dude.
Cup, they
It's the
don't
wage
win the
bill.
league, they don't win
It's the
league
wage
cups.
bill.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's just it was a very
Right.
that
How
always
they got
became a weird
invited to the
thing.
Super League, I'll never understand.
wasn't- I mean,
I'll never understand how they
It's
got
just
invited.
The money and the
money.
stadium, yeah. So
Yeah.
It's money.
But if you-
They've got great cash flow, right? Like this is a club
yeah, I
that
think
makes
they
money.
generate a ton of revenue, and they're I think as you
That's
said,
just keeping them afloat. in my
they're
opinion.
fine with that, right?
Right.
But now, if we are honestly speaking, they're 5 points from West Ham, who's been playing a lot better than they were 2 months ago.
That's another club
still-
that's
you
supposed
still
to be.
think they're,
That's a London
Well,
bias.
that's another
Right.
big club
They're about to have the biggest stadium in the championship.
in the championship.
Yeah.
So it's a club with history. They just won the Conference League 3-ish years ago, 2 years ago,
Yeah,
whatever they
something like
did.
that, yeah.
You know, they were always in that like 8 to 10 spot.
Right,
And the
just
last-
underneath
And the
the
last
top
3
six,
years,
right.
they're like, what the heck is going on
Yeah.
here, right?
Complete downfall.
They're right there. Forest are right there, and then you got Spurs who are 5 points up. And I mean, I'll pull it up now, but if you look at Spurs' remaining games, I don't think it's a far fetch to say they can get relegated.
Romero's head is gone. He's a
So
great,
Romero, I think, and then that's a big problem. I think they lack a lot of leadership. They gave the captain band to a guy whose head is always like
Is Romero the captain now?
Romero's the captain.
Oh, okay.
Once Son left, Romero's the captain. And it's like, when something's not going right, you know you're not going to get the best of Romero.
Right.
When the game's going well and he's playing well and they're winning, you know he can be in everyone's face and he'll be fine. But once something goes south, I mean, even against, was it United? You got it right? It was United, right? It was the United game.
yeah,
Spurs
yeah.
were playing really well. They were on top of the game, in my opinion. He gets a red card, and then they're chasing a team who's kind of playing a lot better than they were. So a big mistake, and then he's out for even the Arsenal game that's coming up.
Right.
Like if you look at these games, like They're going to host Arsenal next. They go away to Fulham, which is a London derby, and then they play Palace. They go to Liverpool, Forest. They go to Sunderland, Brighton. They go to Wolves. They go to Aston Villa, Leeds. They go to Chelsea, and they play Everton.
Yeah, there's not an easy game.
Right.
And especially when like Leeds is Daniel Farke is,
Right.
hasn't
and
played
all
great.
these away games they're tough ways to play. Like going to Fulham is tough.
Awful. Mark Silva's going to whoop
Going
you.
to Sunderland is tough.
Promises.
Going to Aston Villa is tough. Going to Chelsea is tough. And then
Yeah.
your home games of Everton, Crystal Palace, and Arsenal. Like they
It's
got
tough,
some
yeah,
12,
tough.
13 tough
Yeah,
games
for sure.
Another
For
issue I see, and it's an issue that's kind of been lingering, right? There's all this like it's the culture, the history of Tottenham. It's a lot of the same gimmick with Arsenal, but Arsenal's kind of like broken the curse now, seemingly. We'll see.
Not yet.
We'll see later in the second half hour. But the thing right now is like after Mourinho went there, they have a documentary that
Yes,
year.
that's right.
It is quite obvious that if you're a big time manager, you should not accept this job.
Right.
And I think this is now like, this is proof because I think Thomas Frank is a super like intellectual, like cerebral manager. He's smart. Like he had immense success with the Brentford side. Sure, it could have been a perfect storm. You've got Vissa
I want to
and
challenge
Nguemo.
you to go watch. There's a video circulating online about the last 6 Brentford managers. All have been hired either from within the club or a hire with no experience. All did very, very well at Brentford, and after they left Brentford, never had success.
You think maybe it's the environment of Brentford
Well, here's
that
my
helps
thing.
them like
Here's my thing. Like,
succeed?
this is kind of the point I want to get to, right? Like, I think there's two sides to it. Just because you succeed with a mid-level team in the Premier League
Correct.
doesn't mean you're going to succeed
Right, for sure.
with
At
a
the
big
top
time
level.
For
in
sure,
the
for
top
sure.
level. And that applies just because you win the league in Portugal doesn't mean you're going to
Right,
succeed.
for sure.
Just because you win in Italy, right? Like the Premier League is
Completely
weird.
different, right,
Yeah.
right.
And then the second side to that point is you could be a very great manager and you could go fail at Tottenham.
Right.
You could be a very great manager and go fail at Man U.
Right.
I mean, dude. I mean, look
Any
at
club
just,
really.
just look
We
at
saw
what they've
Ancelotti
had.
fell at Everton.
I mean, you
know,
had
So-
Conte, who's won everywhere he's been. He went to Spurs.
They had Thomas Tuchel.
They had
I thought you were talking about Chelsea.
no.
you're
They had
talking-
Conte.
Yeah.
Chelsea had Conte. I mean, Spurs had Conte. Spurs had Mourinho. Spurs had, like guys left and right.
Nuno's a good manager in the Premier League.
He's
He is,
turning
he's
West
fine.
Ham around again.
Yeah.
Nuno has more home wins for Tottenham than Thomas Frank did.
That's crazy.
Oh, sorry, Thomas Frank could have won at home.
Right,
They
that's
lost the
crazy.
home fans
Right.
completely. They're already
yeah, quickly too.
wishy-washy.
Right.
Oh, and
Frank,
they've also. This is also. Sorry, I keep
No,
interrupting. They have more European wins in the last 2 years than wins in the Premier League.
Tottenham.
Yeah.
Is
Oh, because
that's a
Ainge was
crazy
killing it.
Because in
stat,
the Europa
right,
League
that's
and
a
then this
crazy
year Champions
stat.
League, they stayed in
Mil
4th or 5th.
deals.
They stayed up top. They were in the top 8.
yeah.
And in the league, they just can't win a game.
Frank isn't nearly as charismatic as Ainge was.
Correct.
The only reason Ainge lasted longer is because he had that gimmick like, look at what we're doing in Europe. My second year.
I always win.
whatever. Big gimmick. The guy had the worst system of football.
I mean, he did
So-
deliver a trophy.
So
though.
he spoke about that today on that show, and I
Yes.
was watching a
You're
couple
right.
of clips of it, and he said, I knew, and my staff knew, if we lost in the Europa League, we were going to get fired in
That day.
the year.
Right,
yeah.
right.
He's like, if we won the Europa League, I had a feeling we were still going to be sacked because they were having meetings about summer transfers, and we weren't involved in any of
I
that.
mean,
If
that's a
you're not- if you're
telltale
not-
sign.
Listen, man,
So
if
he's
you're not
like,
part
I
of the
knew we were
planning,
up with
it's
Writing's
all right.
on
He
the
said
wall.
we knew the writing was on the wall and it was eventually going to happen. But he's like, I knew if, let's say, we lost in the quarter or the semifinals, I was going to be sacked. the next day.
Right. Do you
So,
think
I
he
mean-
feels vindicated seeing Thomas Frank also not be able to save?
I think they all feel vindicated.
I feel
The
like,
whole long line of them.
I
Right.
feel like he can go, add an extra line to his CV now and be like, nobody succeeds at.
Right,
at
he's the only
Frank.
one so far.
So,
Besides,
like,
I don't even think Poch won anything at Tottenham.
He
I
took
know
us
he
to
made it to the
Champions League final,
right?
yeah.
But that's not a victory.
You guys want to know who's the betting favorite to be the next coach?
it was him, right?
Is it
Pochettino.
Pochettino?
To return back after
for Spurs?
To return back after the World Cup, I read that.
Well, that was actually going to be my follow-up question. Where do you think Spurs go from here in terms of manager? Poch, I don't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it kind of feels like a nostalgia appointment. The team has moved
I mean,
on
how many times?
since then.
How many times do coaches who were successful go back to a club and repeat success. It doesn't really happen often, I feel like.
Nah, hardly ever. I
We-
feel
we
like
see it.
right.
Guys, they had Eriksson, Heung-min Son, and Harry Kane.
And Harry Kane,
Sometimes it's just that, right? Like,
Right.
Lucas Moura when he was like
Yeah.
in his time, Vertonghen and Alderweireld.
Hugo
like,
Lloris, right? Like,
Right.
there's a
Yeah,
very
really
good
team.
side. Sometimes it just works out that way. If you look at this roster right now,
Right. And at this point, he's essentially walking back, and it's all strangers. I don't think a single player of his is still at the club.
Yeah, everyone's gone.
So he's essentially starting from scratch again with a brand new set of
No, but I
of
think
people.
And then when you compare, like, again, and he just kind of said it, like, their roster to the big six, like, they're by far
Way
the
worse off. Yeah,
probably
for
worse
sure.
than- like the
For sure.
worst.
I feel like starters on Spurs would probably maybe make the bench at the other top five. You know.
Yeah,
like
yeah. So like, I mean,
maybe minus one or two
I think
certain
their
players.
most impactful player this season is a loanee.
Yeah.
Palinha.
oh, Panini's been good. Yeah,
Yeah, he's been the most impactful player on the pitch.
they have holes all over the field.
Everywhere. Yeah.
And it's going to take some time to rebuild that. But again, I think we got up to the relegation part. I think they're right in there with West Ham and Forest.
You think
and
they will get relegated? You think they might squeeze it out?
so
at the end of the
I think they're talented enough not to, but
I tell you, I'd actually.
they're going to play 2 games in the Champions League soon, not this round, the next round. If they get caught trying to go for the next round of the Champions League and you know something happens in the league and
their way
the
down.
players see it, it's going to be tough to get back up.
I wonder,
Yeah,
folks.
sure.
This next segment is brought to you by the worst prediction market provider. I'm not going to say the name, but I wonder what the odds are
To get
for them to
relegated?
be relegated, because there must be a bias saying like, "Oh, they won't get relegated."
Yeah.
However,
Because that would be like the meta is that they would survive.
right. You'd be like, "Oh, if you look at the best, whatever." However, if you look at the lineup of games, if you look at how well West Ham, they're hitting a bit of form.
They were They were a minute and 15 seconds away from being 3 points behind West Ham. I mean, above West Ham,
When was this?
because Sesko scored in the 96th minute.
Right, to
against
save
West
the
Ham.
game for United.
Yes.
That took 2 points away from West Ham, and it would have put
Super
Spurs in
crucial
a
points.
terrible
The finish
spot.
that was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a great
That
finish.
was a great
And
finish.
we'll go to that in a little bit. But again, I was looking at the that's when it caught my eyes. When I checked, I was like, let me look at Spurs. They lost again. I was like, oh, they're 3 points at the moment from West Ham. And West Ham, again, I think they've won 3 of last 4.
Yeah, something like
They're
that.
playing a lot better once they got rid of the guy who bets against himself. What's his name?
Paquetá.
Paquetá, yeah. Who got a yellow his first game in the Brasileirão too, because that's just what he does.
Paqueta things.
This is a sidebar, maybe for the guys that do the Brazil show. I saw a video the other day. He was like getting videotaped, and they were doing a video of him. He was like, "God, Chelsea was calling. All these big teams were calling."
I'm
And
sure.
I said, I want Flamengo. I said, all right, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sure they were.
Chelsea was not calling.
But if we go to the next team, that's probably going to get relegated. I think they're going to get relegated. Forest
That's probably the
fire Sean Dyche yesterday after they tied Wolves. I mean, that kind of speaks for itself. Wolves can't.
The worst team
They're
this
probably
year,
going to be
easily,
they're
right.
probably going to be the worst team in the history of the Premier League. If not, they're.
So hard to beat Derby County. Like,
I mean, they're right there, and
But they're close,
Southampton was
yeah.
right there last year
They're
too.
close,
so
yeah.
we've seen 2 of the worst ever teams recently.
Yeah, when it goes wrong, it goes really wrong.
Yeah, so they. But again, they fired him, and I told Johnny this nugget. You weren't here yet. Sean Dyche has had 60% of possession in only 10 games he's coached in his career. How many games has he won? Let's see if you can get it.
Say that again?
He's had 60% of possession in 10 games he's coached
Throughout
in
his
his
whole
career.
career.
One of them was yesterday
That's
against
it?
Wolves. Yeah, 10. And you know
How many of those 10 do you think he
I mean,
won?
he's been around for 20 years, but 10 games he's had 60%
Alright.
of possession.
My gut is telling me it's going to be something insane like 0. I'm going to go 2.
0.
It's 0! Oh my God!
You
dude.
listen
That
to
is
your gut.
unbelievable.
Listen to your gut.
I knew it was going to be something insane.
So it was. I think that yesterday he had 62, but they've had 4 draws and 6 losses. In games they've had 60%.
He's over there talking to his assistants. What the hell's going on?
I was telling you,
It's
like,
too defensive.
if I was anybody, I'd go the same way.
Just let
like,
them play,
Just
right.
let them have the ball. They're gonna just hold it in midfield. They have no idea what to do.
Imagine a modern coach who has no plan for what to do.
Attacking.
For what to do when you have a sustained possession.
Dude.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, but it's been like that, and again, teams they kind of fall into his trap where they kind of start sending people forward, and you get caught on one bad counterattack, and they go up 1-0 in the 20th minute, and then they just have 11 people
Right,
inside the
right.
box, and they just defend like that.
But if you let them have the ball the whole time,
Yeah, right?
they're not going to do
gonna be a
much
boring
with it.
game, I'll
right.
tell you that,
Well, for
but-
sure. Right, for sure.
The theme this year has really been, at least in part, 2 Portuguese managers crashing out. Because Nuno was only fired because he crashed out.
Yeah.
That's like ultimately like when he was sacked. We thought the funniest thing would be that Potter would get sacked and Nuno would go take his job.
Yes.
But remember when he got sacked, we were like, what are they doing? Like Nuno seems to really have the backing of the guys.
Speaking out.
Then I think Dyche came in and kind of they
got like
got
2
some
games out of
results.
them.
I'm like, all right, maybe it was the right decision, whatever. But my gut
Wrong.
told me.
It was Ainge came in first.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
They won like 3 months without a win. 2 months
days,
without a
they
win.
couldn't
Yeah.
get a
I
result.
think it was 8 games in a
Right.
row that they lost.
Yeah.
That was the funniest part, is that they brought Ainge in.
Yeah, because we were
Complete
talking about
opposite,
we were
right,
talking
they
about how
won
they
That was
went-
this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Folks,
went-
it's been the longest
They
couple of
went
months.
from defensive like coach
To the highest level.
to the ultra attacking coach.
Everybody's forward.
And the transfer market had just closed like 2 days
Yeah.
prior, so they brought all these guys.
You know,
for
good
Nuno,
timing, you
right?
know.
And then they brought in
Yeah.
Ainge, and then they brought in Sean Dyche, another defensive guy, and now they're bringing in Vitor Pereira, who's a little mix of both.
They're bringing
but
Vitor Pereira?
He's going to be the
Yeah,
next
he's
coach.
taking over.
So it'll be funny. He might be the first coach to get 2 teams relegated.
They're bringing another Portuguese guy.
Imagine.
Well,
Meu
I mean,
Deus.
Wolves kind of drew it up on themselves, right? They sold everybody and didn't replace anybody. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that-
roster stinks.
Yeah.
Roster stinks.
Yeah, it's
so
real bad.
They're not any
Look at
good.
Strand Larson, his first game at Crystal, he got
Scored 2
goals.
goals. That was a terrible game for Palace. You're up 2-0 and you give up 3 goals to Burnley.
Yeah,
At home is not really ideal.
No, not at all.
But I think ultimately, Forest goes down,
Okay, I could see that.
and I think West Ham's playing a little bit better,
Do you
and
think they'll survive? If they continue this form,
I think West
possibly.
Ham is better coached than Forest is going to be.
Sure.
And then Forest is still in Europa League, lingering around, and they might have a chance to go a little far. Not good. They're not like a good team, but they're an English team, and an English team in Europe is better
Yeah,
than
for
majority
sure.
of teams, right? So I think they're going to have a decent run in the Europa League. Their first round is pretty tough. They play Fenerbahce. If they can play Fenerbahce, then if anyone wants to have fun, just go on any app that you use to look at scores and just go look at Fenerbahce's squad because it's the funniest thing you'll ever see.
Right, but I feel like you
those
could say that about
kind
any
of,
Turkish
No,
team,
like,
honestly.
dude, and they just signed Conte. So, like, if you go look
Conte's
at
their
it,
manager now?
no,
N'Golo
not
Conte.
N'Golo Conte.
N'Golo, they signed N'Golo Kante.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
left Saudi
so, like,
Arabia.
So they have Asensio, Aktürkoğlu,
Come on, gang. You know the name.
Musaba, Conte,
Nelson
Talisca,
Semedo.
Talisca, Fred, Edson Alvarez, Nelson Semedo, Guendouzi.
Folks, this payroll
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
the roof.
Skriniar, Soyuncu,
That's a crazy line.
Skriniar was making money at Al Nasser.
And they're not.
and then
in
like
first,
Ederson is their goalie. So
Oh my
like,
God,
And they're
It's-
not in first.
it's
the
the
craziest
funniest
part.
team I've ever seen in my life. I was dying the other day. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Wow, this
But I
is
feel like
not-
that's just like Turk, because
Edson Alvarez.
isn't like,
Yeah, it's an Alvarez.
wasn't it like Galatasaray who had like Osimhen last year?
Yeah,
Or like,
and Galatasaray is another funny team. But and they just got rid of John Duran. They had him too. He went to Zenit. So
I saw
Yeah.
that.
at 22 years old, he's been around
Banished,
the world.
banished to Russia.
he got
Yeah.
his bag already,
Yeah, I mean,
at least, you know?
so that was just a side note.
Morally
But that's
dubious.
just the funniest. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Morally dubious.
For sure.
yeah. He's been
Started
in,
with Villa.
he's been in some. He's even played in the United States.
MLS, yeah. Did he go Mexico MLS?
I think he went Colombia,
Colombia.
MLS, Aston Villa,
Saudi Arabia.
Al Nassr, Fenerbahce, Zenit.
You mean he's been to a whole bunch of. All right.
Sanctions nightmare.
Yeah.
A bunch of countries that don't want him to be there, to be honest.
Yeah, literally. That's too funny.
But besides that,
Yeah.
I guess we can go to break, right, Johnny?
Yeah,
And we'll come
we
back
could
and go to
go to
Arsenal.
break. When we come back, we'll talk about Arsenal. We'll talk
Yeah.
about United. No haircuts this time. They did not win their 5th game. And if we have time, we'll do a little preview of Europe. Stay with us.
That guy's gonna disappear.
Top Burger. Espetinhos variados com acompanhamento. Salgadinhos. Açaí. Sucos. Omeletes. Hambúrguer. Top Burger, a melhor de todas, na 185 Adams Street. Telefone 973-558-5227. Top Burger.
Precisa de um táxi em Newark? A Go Car Service está aí para si. Desfrute de viagens a apenas $7 em todo o Ironbound. Basta baixar a aplicação para reservar de forma rápida. Serviço para o aeroporto, os nossos serviços fiáveis levam sempre a hora. Os nossos simpáticos motoristas falam 3 idiomas: inglês, espanhol e português. Estão disponíveis para si 24 horas por dia. Escolha entre a nossa ampla variedade de veículos para satisfazer a sua necessidade. Go Car Service, sua viagem de confiança em Newark.
O jornal luso-americano, fundado em 1928, é há quase um século o elo de ligação da comunidade portuguesa nos Estados Unidos. Da edição impressa ao site online, continua a ser uma referência de informação e credibilidade. E agora dá um novo passo. Chega o Luso-Americano TV, uma plataforma moderna com conteúdos exclusivos e programação dedicada à nossa diáspora. Disponível na aplicação WNN Luso-Americano TV, no Roku, Apple TV e em dispositivos Android. Luso-Americano, a informar, unir e valorizar os portugueses no mundo.
Amaral & Associates Realty, a sua casa na Flórida. Natalie Amaral Cerdeira, 386-264-0760. Dr. Christophe Oliveira, especializado no tratamento de dores. 732-442-0969. Insurance Associate Plus. Orçamentos grátis. 908-964-9010.
Praia Sol. Charme, excelência, clima, qualidade. O melhor valor para tudo que mereces. Férias do Sonho, ponto de encontro. Entre Quarteira e Vila Moura. Praia, gastronomia, vida, momentos, tradição. Descubra seu espaço. Reviva seu mundo. Hotel Praia Sol, afinal, estamos bem perto. Chegados ao coração. No coração de Newark está um pedaço autêntico de Portugal. Localizado na Market Street, o Coimbra Restaurante é o verdadeiro rei do leitão à bairrada. Preparado em tradicionais fornos de lenha. Com serviço no bar, sala e salão para eventos até 100 pessoas, aqui encontra o espaço perfeito para celebrar com amigos e família. Sabores únicos da nossa gastronomia, para matar saudades de casa. Coimbra Restaurante, 637 a 641 Market Street, Newark. Portugal, sempre à mesa.
De Newark para a MCM Clinic, Braga. Dona Celeste, que já realizou os implantes e as próteses provisórias, vem hoje colocar o trabalho final, que são as próteses definitivas. Mais um caso de sucesso, mais um sorriso novo e bonito na MCM Clinic. Dona Celeste, já com o trabalho final, os seus dentes definitivos. Obrigado por ter confiado na MCM Clinic.
Ferry Chiropractic e Centro de Terapia. Dr. Mark Rodrigues. Não continue a sofrer. 973-589-7772. Orivesaria Jacques Andy. Compramos ouro. 973-344-3671. Lusitânia Savings Bank. Contas comerciais, empréstimos comunitários, mortgage. 973-344-5125. Rosa Maria Vitória, consultora de imigração, traduções e procurações. 529 8036.
Firmino Insurance. Descansa as suas famílias com um seguro de vida pessoal e empresarial. Garantir a tranquilidade da sua família é o melhor negócio. Avaliação do tipo de seguro sem qualquer compromisso. Saiba qual o melhor seguro de vida para si. Firmino Insurance.
Lisbon Cleaners. Temos oportunidades de emprego imediatas. Contacte 1-800 Lisbon 1. Losamer Autobody. Somos especializados em múltiplas marcas. Todo o tipo de trabalho mecânico. 973 824 0123. Olshins Pharmacy. A sua farmácia e liquor store comunitário. Verifique os nossos especiais. 973 344 9000. Souza Exterminating. 30 anos de experiência. Sempre os melhores preços. 908 352 7959.
Comece o dia da melhor forma na North Avenue Bakery. Do pão acabado de sair do forno aos nossos deliciosos pastéis de nata, cada sabor é feito com tradição e qualidade. Pequeno almoço, almoço ou lanche, temos sempre algo especial para si. Aberta todos os dias das 4h30 às 9 da noite, North Avenue Bakery. Prova tradição, sinta-se em casa.
Fair.
For you, Jonathan.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Don't mind us. We stay yapping even off camera. Let's.
Sorry if you heard him.
We're
Business
gonna head to the
opportunities.
United draw first. Or you want to talk about Arsenal first?
Let's talk about United. And
Okay.
So, coming off 4 straight wins, I think their game against Spurs was their worst performance. Obviously, eclipsed by Romero
Being Romero.
I can't say it, but being what he's done a lot of times in his career.
What did he want to say?
And then, you
Starts
know,
with a C, ends with a T.
they deserve to win that one. But this game was by far the worst game that they've had since Michael Carrick's been there.
Do you think the honeymoon's over for Carrick?
I don't know if it's over. I think the team still
undefeated.
attacks pretty well. I don't think they did this game. They played a very determined West Ham for many factors, including a haircut for
That is true.
for somebody. But I think West Ham, since the transfer window opened and closed, they were a very different team than they were at the end of 2025.
And why is that? Because people criticize the 2 attacking signings. Like, oh my God, you're overpaying for Gil Vicente striker and Castellanos.
Castellanos, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think they got 2 very different players than what they had. So they had Nicholas Fulkrug, who
And Wilson.
was it? And Callum Wilson,
Wilson,
yeah.
Fulkrug was gone.
Fulkrug is
Not
gone
fit,
to AC
yeah.
Milan, but he's a very different player than what Castellanos is.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're kind of playing off like when you're playing this counter-attacking style-ish, you kind of need some movement up top, and Fulkrug doesn't give you that. And I think Castellanos definitely does. And he's played well kind of everywhere. He was very good in America, he was very good in Spain, and he was okay in Italy. So it's interesting to see what he's brought to West Ham. And Pablo from Gil Vicente has been playing well too in the couple games that he's played. So
He's super physical as well.
so you got those 2 guys. They're bigger guys who can move, and then Bowen is a threat anytime he plays.
He's awesome.
And it's going to be interesting to see if they end up going down, what happens with Bowen. I think he's going to leave. And unfortunately,
Probably like half the team would leave if
and
they go down.
and they're going to lose a lot of money on Bowen, because I think if they were to sell him now, they would make a decent penny on him. But if they go to the championship, obviously you got to sell for cheaper.
Right.
But he's an awesome player, and so they have some interesting pieces there. I think it's going to be interesting to see what's going forward. But give up 2 very precious points in the last kick of the game, which was a great finish by Sesko.
Crazy finish.
The cross by Embuemo almost looks lazy. Like, oh, like
He's just like, let me get the ball.
And
But
this
that
guy,
finish, though,
this
like-
guy is beats the. And we've criticized Sesko so much.
Yeah.
He like doesn't look like a Premier League striker. he's looked increasingly better for a little
I mean,
while
that
now.
finish screams like Berbatov.
Oh my God!
You know
Yeah,
what I
it's,
mean?
it's such a depth touch. It's an insane. When I saw the replay, I was like, "Oh, is this like a weird own goal?" Where like, no, this guy nicked it past the defender, up towards the top of the goal. Like it's just insane.
Very classy.
Just insane. Just insane.
Yeah.
And again, it's a cross that's like meaningless, right? Like a weak little cross, and he's like hitting it from this insane angle. Really good. Really good.
So I think it's a tough point for United. Obviously, you'd want to win the game considering the disaster in the Chelsea game. Also, they gave up 2 goals at home against Leeds, and the race for 3, 4, 5, and 6 is very tight. In Liverpool and also,
right.
it's very tight in
Very
those
lucky
spots.
win, but a win.
I mean, I think they were. If we get into Liverpool, I think they were the better team, and Sunderland hadn't lost at home. So beating Sunderland in it's the Stadium of Light is very tough. They have an insane atmosphere over there.
Yeah, especially this year.
Yeah, and they're going to be fine. They're obviously going to stay in the Premier League.
I didn't get to watch Liverpool, but I wanted to just. I was thinking back to the West Ham Man U game, and I distinctly remember several situations. Well, I remember first where Man U scores that goal, and you see the reaction by Nuno. It killed them, right?
Stung, yeah.
It stung. Why? Because they were so much better than Man U for most of the game.
Right.
So much of that game, West Ham is like completely with open grass on counterattacks. And who stopped West Ham time again and time after that? It was a certain center back that was making like 50-yard dashes to cut off shots. And it was this Lenny Yoro guy who was making the most insane interventions because he's this like young, super athletic dude.
It's probably his best game for United. He hasn't. I don't think he's been too good in the time he's been there. I think he was good this game. You're right.
It's funny how situations matter, right? Because if that's Harry Maguire, he probably doesn't have the legs to get back.
Speed, yeah.
Meanwhile, Harry Maguire is much better on the ball and he's much more composed, whatever.
Yeah.
But Yoro was making really, really tough
Tackles.
really tough. Like you're talking like 3v1 situations, like really, really tough. And that game could have easily gotten away from Man U. And to your point, West Ham losing 2 points there is harsh.
So
Yeah, I feel like it's 2 points. I think those points hit harder for West Ham than they do for
Yeah,
United.
somehow.
So this is like
It's overshadowed by the haircut thing.
Right,
whatever.
right,
Yeah.
This is where it's like, I think the most interesting part of the year where it's like, you look at the table and it's like, wow, there's either teams fighting for a Champions League spot, or there's teams fighting to get relegated, and like, every game now is like so important to what goes forward, where you're not like overlooking like a game in October. It's like, oh,
Right,
well,
right.
that won't matter in the
Right.
long run.
Well, not at this point.
It's like the antithesis of the NBA.
Yeah, right. Like
It's like right now I cannot be more disinterested.
like the
honestly.
game. I mean, they play like every other night. The game happens like, oh, they lose, they win, they lose, they win, whatever. But it's like West Ham need those 2 points.
really bad.
Yeah,
really
right.
bad,
Imagine
right.
it's way different to be like, wow, Spurs are 3. Considering Forest had also drawn against Wolves, like
Yeah.
you would have been 1 point behind Forest and 3 points behind Spurs, and now it's like, damn, we're still 5 points behind Spurs and
Right.
3 points behind, or 2.
Still
points
time to
behind.
fix
Listen,
it.
obviously,
They have a
but-
lot to build on. They have a lot
like-
to build on.
Yeah,
Right,
and
right.
but I think like if you're a West Ham fan, the feeling that you have after that United game, and if you compare it to the feeling you had in November, are 2 way different
Oh,
feelings.
for
Like,
sure, night
wow,
and day.
we
sure.
should have beaten United, and we're right outside, like right looking at the end of the relegation battle. And in November, I think you would look at it and be like, this team is dead. Like,
Right,
they're in
right.
the water.
I don't think anybody had any kind of hope for
No.
West Ham in like November, October.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And even Burnley's in a tough spot.
Even a
They had
month
they
ago.
have a great win yesterday, but they're in a tough spot. I think they're still in like 18 points. Like they're still 10-ish points out. Like it's a lot of points. And it's a lot of teams. It's not only just the points. Like if it was 10 points and you're chasing one team,
right,
they're
right,
chasing
right.
3 teams to get out of
Yeah.
2 teams out to
It's
get out of the
tough.
spot.
We'll see. I'll be rooting for West Ham, and in many ways, I kind of think I don't know what the odds are, the probability. I think it'll be interesting to see if Tottenham sort of inches their way into that third
Into the relegation spot?
into is it 18th into the
playoff
18th spot.
You
Yeah,
know what I'm rooting for.
you're rooting for
Spurs
to go down. Of course.
Spurs to go down.
How could you be a top 6 club?
You're going
That's
down.
interesting. And the Man U story is a fun one, right? Like, there's all this hype about this TikTok creator who's like, he initially when he started the trend, his hair was as short as Brandon's.
Was he 493, something like that?
A day 400, I don't know, something like that, something absurd, right?
I think
Like,
it's more. I think it's like in the thousands.
No,
I
it's
think
less
it's
than
No?
I think it's
Did
400.
I see a TikTok that was lying to me?
It'll probably get to 1,000, but it's like 493. I think.
Still a lot.
Yeah.
Still a lot.
I wonder if he ever thought he'd make it this far with this.
I hope he doesn't have like a significant other,
God bless
a
that
lady.
woman or man
A lady
or
or
whatever.
or a man, or
I feel bad for the way the guy's been treated. A couple weeks ago,
by a couple club legends.
A couple
right?
weeks ago, he got like
It's gotta be
harassed by a
super
fan.
like
So
disheartening to like be
course.
such a fan
did
of
see
this
that,
club
too, yeah.
and the legends are coming and being like taking the piss out of you. You know what I mean? Like it's gotta hurt.
I honestly
gotta hurt.
think I have so much respect for the kid. Like we're doing a show right now. We're putting ourselves out there.
Right.
400 or whatever days ago, he decided to put himself out there. This isn't some gimmick, right? Like it's he could have had 6 viewers for the rest of his time doing this trend and it never go viral, et cetera, et cetera. The club legends making fun of him and criticizing him, those guys are no better than he is. Like, in fact, it's more shameless. And it's a thing about Man U, right? Like, Neville is such a caricature now. Rooney's a caricature. Rio, I think Ferdinand's kind of broken through. And
He's in
like,
Saudi Arabia.
I think he's more sincere, I think, in a way. But there's so many of these guys who try to go, who make, Roy Keane is a big one, right? Like, that's his whole gimmick. Is
Well,
like,
it's just a hard. I can't say it, but he's just like a, tough guy, and like
Yeah.
he never wants to show any emotion, and everything annoys him.
But he wants the clickbait too.
Yeah, right.
Of course.
Like,
And I wish it was back like when it was in the 90s. Like, you guys were not, you guys are not playing really good soccer at all.
Yeah.
Like, it was really bad.
But it's the nostalgia merchant
yeah,
thing,
nostalgia
right?
merchant.
well,
right.
that's. I mean, and like you say, if the guy was like, if it was like a gimmick where he just
It's
didn't.
not, he must have been a real, really,
Or
he is a
Roy
real
Keane
Man
kind
U
of
fan.
he
fan.
could have
Right,
easily
right.
been like, oh, screw this, I'm gonna shave my head. Like, I don't care anymore.
Right,
Like,
right.
He's gonna go through it till the end, and like.
He seems like a modest dude, and obviously he's become very famous because of it. But the hate is just
I mean, to each its own. Everybody wants to work the way they want, and if that works, then
True.
that works, right?
True.
what's next for us, Man U.
West Ham got their haircut after though.
Yeah,
It was
Obviously,
pretty
they're
funny.
gonna troll.
Yeah.
I sent it to Rui right before, like the women's Manchester United team won their 6th game in a row, and they went to celebrate on the TV, like making fun of like.
That's
like,
too
they're gonna-
funny. That's poor
Like
kid,
they're kind of
man.
getting trolled by
This
their
poor
own
kid,
women's club.
man.
Listen,
He just wanted to have a little fun. You know what I mean? Like,
some of the guys and some of the fans of the club are like, oh, it's putting too much unwanted attention. Go out there and win 5 in a row.
yeah, right.
Like,
right, right.
like
You're bringing
go
it to
and do
yourself.
it.
Can't
Go and
even-
do it.
Right.
I mean, it's not. and
This is
it's
what you
like-
want as a fan. Like,
It's and they're not a small team. Like they're a global
you do
icon.
it. Like,
Right.
Like you're
right,
not bringing
right.
the pressure onto like, I don't know, a Canadian soccer team. Like,
Right.
This is Manchester United.
yeah, this
Yeah,
pressure
exactly. You
exist.
should be able to handle
day.
some kid not cutting his hair. You know, like, yeah, I don't know, it's very like prima donna-y, like kind of vibes coming from some of these club legends.
It's the level that United is at right now.
I mean, yeah,
Everything bothers them, and
Fair.
everything is an excuse for them not succeeding again.
fair.
So it still ran like a family office, that place. It's-
Which is crazy to think about. You know, one of the, if not besides Madrid, probably the biggest club on the planet.
Yeah, so it's
You know,
always it's like them two, the Lakers and the Yankees. Like when you
Right,
think
right.
about like the top Forbes list, it's always the same
Right.
people, or the Dallas Cowboys, whatever it is. But it's just
There should be no excuse. And them like scapegoating the kid, like Roy was saying, makes them look worse.
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
it makes
like
them look
you said it perfectly. Just go out there and win. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
you'll shut everybody up.
And
You
I
know?
thought he brought so much like good fun, energy to this otherwise horrible situation. I mean, this phase that was horrible.
Right.
He brought a ton of good energy, a ton of good attention. He wasn't being a troll about it, and people treated him badly. I don't like that stuff. I hate bullying. Okay, Brandon? You big bully.
anti-bully. This guy.
Good, as we should be.
We can go to Arsenal.
Yeah. Arsenal also
speaking
dropped
of
points today.
They stink.
Speaking
1-1.
of the fake bullies, yeah, and they should have
Arsenal's
lost.
fake victims.
They
Sorry.
they were not they were not the better team. Probably should have lost the game. Martinelli does have a chance all the way at the end of the game, but
Oh, please. Yeah, I don't know how he took a touch there.
yeah, that.
Oh, my
So I mean, that was a chance to probably put it away, but they had 0 shots on target in the first half, and it's just kind of the song and dance by Arsenal, and then they somehow scored in the second half.
I asked it, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, I think, if this was the start of the bottle job.
You did ask when you weren't on. You put a message in here and you said, "Is this start of the bottle job?"
And I kind of feel like it's progressing towards that.
They have 9 points out of the last 18 possible, so half of their
Arsenal
games.
things.
The only thing
now,
is,
and now City's 4 points? And
City's
they're looking closer and closer.
City's
And
4
that's
points.
a scary. Take it from somebody who's been in that position before. That's a scary sight.
So if
when
you
they start
can
getting
get-
closer like that,
if we can get
hitting
City
form.
to stay at 4 points or less until that game at the Etihad, we might be talking about something different.
right?
In a
Do you
couple
think that
weeks.
game might be a title decider?
I think there's still a ton of games after that, so probably not. And I think the Champions League is so big right now for both of them that it's going to have a lot to say.
Do you think Arsenal would rather win the Champions League or the Prem?
Prem. I think
they would
they're
rather
gonna
win
put
the
all their
Prem,
eggs-
too.
It would be hysterical after everything that's been going on with Spurs if they beat Arsenal this weekend.
Spurs. That's a Spurs thing to happen, though. You know,
No,
like we
Spurs.
said the
only
same thing of
the
when
only
they
thing
were
they
playing
can
PSG.
do. The only thing
and
they
won.
can do is beat City because they can't beat anybody else, but they somehow
True.
always.
Yeah,
get a
that's
good
true.
result. And then City plays Newcastle this weekend. It's a tough game, and I think they play. Oh no, they just played Liverpool. I was gonna say I think they play Liverpool soon.
Newcastle could beat them.
Wow, but then Arsenal goes next week against Chelsea. It's another tough-ish game.
I feel like I would back Arsenal.
Me too, but you just don't know.
I took Leeds double chance this weekend, or this week rather.
It worked out, and Leeds plays City next week.
I'll be taking City.
So I mean, there's some tough. When is this game? City and the City and Arsenal game is. Did I skip over it?
Dude, I think any other year, while you look for that, any other year, it becomes an Arsenal bottle job like last year.
Right.
Don't even
Right,
get
like
me started, dude.
Arsenal was first come Boxing Day, and
Last
then they
year?
blew it last year. Yeah, they were great.
No.
For the first half.
Was it? I
No,
thought
it
Liverpool
was 2
led
years
the
ago.
whole year.
It was 2 years ago.
Liverpool won ranking last year.
It was 2 years ago, right? Like where it was like a debacle. This year, if and this was a point I made a couple weeks ago, if City had any consistency in getting results, this would be
Done and dusted
done and
already?
dusted. Yeah,
agreed.
absolutely.
So
Agreed.
at Wolves, at Tottenham, Chelsea, at Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, at Manchester City,
This is Arsenal.
and then Newcastle, Fulham, at West Ham. These are Arsenal's fixtures.
Listen,
Tough. Every game.
I mean, every
now
game is tough, right?
in the Premier League is going to be tough. So after that City game, you got 1, 2, 3. You got 5 games after the City game. So again,
It's not a lot.
if City can somehow stay in that 4 to 5-ish points until they play Arsenal, and then let's say they beat Arsenal and they get into 2-1 point, I think Arsenal. And I said this a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you guys were on. If they're feeling the pressure in January or now February, and it gets like that in April,
I think they're going to crack.
they might crack.
I think they are.
it's
Because like my
it's
thing,
in the cards.
My thing
I
with
thought it would never be.
Arsenal undoubtedly super talented, obviously, and
Yeah.
like this year they're well run, but mentally I don't know if they have the fortitude to see out the title. Because as soon as like if they drop, like next game if they draw or lose, it's gonna start cracking a little bit harder.
I mean, if they draw next game, they're in big trouble. They play
Guys,
Wolves.
I tell you,
right.
if Arteta does not win the league this year, this is his biggest indictment. And where like when it isn't high pressure, they look great. When that pressure starts creeping in, it almost feels like it affects the way he like communicates a plan to the guys.
Right.
They become very much more tense. You don't see the
I mean, I think I already
chance
like,
creation.
in the last 4 or 5 games, especially away from home in the
You see
league.
that? Yeah.
100%. I think they've had a game plan and it's not worked out. And I don't think, or if it's either on Arteta, I think it is, or the players are not adjusting to anything that's going on from the opposition. And it's shown, and they're struggling to create, I think you said it, and I think it's very clear, to create like good goal-scoring chances.
But I feel like that's been them all year because they're just scoring
Well,
off
in
of
the
like
beginning,
set piece
they were
routines,
creating
you
set
know,
pieces,
like
and hilariously,
open play.
they
it's
were
been a little
complaining
dry.
about crowding the keeper. I don't know if you watched the game.
It was hilarious.
David
I was,
Raya's
oh my
complaining.
God, it was hilarious. How could you?
David
Honestly-
Raya goes up to referee complaining that they're crowding the keeper around the corner as if they don't do it 17 times a game.
Israelis, bro.
And then
Telling you.
They score off a throw-in. Brentford scores off a throw-in.
Did you notice? So I had to watch the game in bits and pieces because I have a job. But
Same.
but I know you do. But I was watching that portion, and Saka just got subbed in, and I thought he looked woeful defensively.
Yeah.
He kicked the ball out for that throw-in, which like seemed off, and they scored on that throw-in. I was like, oh man, what a horrible, like, Saka's been hurt, he comes in, and he gives up the throw, and that ends up as a goal. And then, they're complaining, like, oh, there's physicality in the box.
Come on.
That's what they live off.
Come on, this is the Prem, bro.
And that's Arsenal's bread and butter.
That's
Like,
what they do. Yeah, so
literally.
they made it
We're
popular.
gonna set screens on corner kicks, and 3 players are gonna
Right.
go around.
But
the
it's okay
keeper,
when they do it,
and
and
then-
just not the other
It's
way
probably
around.
when I do it,
Right.
yeah.
So Forest has, I don't know if you saw it, Forest has more coaches this year than Saka has goals.
That's too funny. Oh my
Saka, he
god.
had 1 goal in his last 17.
That's an indictment on both Saka and Forrest at the same time. Oh, that's crazy. I did not know that.
Not a good statistic.
That's a wild stat.
He,
Leave it to Brandon. He always has the best stats.
How do we have, and we go back to this, how do you have the leader of the Premier League and their highest goal scorer,
Yeah.
I think, is 6?
Yeah,
like done by
right,
committee.
right.
Yeah.
That's because
You know-
it's haram, like, set piece ball all year, like,
And-
it was bound to, like,
If we're being honest here, Gabriel should have had a red card in the 83rd minute.
Yeah, he should have.
He has a really bad tackle for
A second
second
yellow.
yellow on Altara, I think it was.
Yeah. And the ref looked like he pondered it for a bit, and then he was like, yeah, we're not giving it.
It was a pretty easy call, along with Foden. Foden should have got a red card yesterday, but
Did VAR get called for Foden or no?
I don't think so.
Yeah. That's not good.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're out to use it.
So it's some tough calls to make, and I think if you're Brentford and you're looking at the clock in the 83rd minute and you can go up a man at home, knowing that Arsenal will more than likely settle for the point, you probably take your chances on another set piece,
Right.
and go on to win the game. Brentford, all in all, have been very good this year. I think they're.
I mean, they're probably.
No, Liverpool just won, so they're 2 points back of Liverpool, so they're in
They have
7th
40
place.
points.
Yeah, they've been
But they're
really, really
arguably
good.
like the best run club in the Prem.
They're
Or
being
if not
very.
one of.
We talked
you
about
know?
their
They're
coaching.
11 points ahead of Frank.
Right, right.
We talked about their coaching cycle and how everybody else has gone out and done nothing. But yeah, I mean, and they just got another forward, Igor Thiago, who has almost 20 goals. If not
Can you
20
believe that
goals.
guy's 24 years old?
No, he looks like he's like 34 years old. But before him, they had Ivan Toney. Before Ivan Toney, they had Ollie Watkins.
Between Tony and Thiago, they have Vissa.
Yeah, and then they had
And
That's
then
right.
Bueno.
So
Yeah.
So you're looking at
Just great
a
scouting.
line,
I guess,
a line of attacking talent, and a line of very
They're
good
recruiting
coaches
on
for
point.
for their club.
There's a system there, man. It's like Brighton, right? Like Brighton
Right,
stays
right,
relevant. It's like a club that can make money, but also be competitive. This is the
But they
hardest
also
thing to do
sign
in the
players
Prem.
that fit their system, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
instead of buying like players that obviously don't. For example, you know what I mean? Like,
So and they're finding,
There's like a method.
I think
Right,
they're in
right.
that same thing that you said. They're in that Brighton, Bournemouth,
Crystal
Palace, where it's like they're going to be
Villa.
somewhere between they're going to be somewhere between 9 and 12, and they're just going to be hanging out there. Aston Villa is suffering from 3 big injuries, and they're somehow winning games. Still.
You guys are a big club.
We are a big.
hey man,
we're-
more Champions League than Arsenal.
I did
yes.
that. I said that to tease you. You guys-
More
How many do
Champions
you guys
League.
have?
One Champions
Nah,
League.
more than Benfica. That's
One
right.
Champions League title, more FA Cups than City, and more league titles than Chelsea.
But now Liverpool.
No, Liverpool's the biggest club.
When you
in
hear
England.
statistics
Yeah.
like this, they feel cherry picked.
No, not cherry picked. I compared them to. Oh, and they have more Champions League titles than Spurs, more league titles than Spurs. So.
Oh, it's across the board as
yeah,
more than Spurs. Yeah.
No, Spurs have more FA Cups, so I guess
You gotta balance it out
they
somehow.
can enjoy that.
All right, and we have a couple minutes left before we end. Rui, Madrid is coming to Benfica next week.
Rui's not scared.
How you feeling?
Bring them on. The season's over for us. it is a complete and utter success. I haven't watched them in the league. I haven't watched them since they played Benfica.
They sucked
They looked
right
awful.
after the Benfica
Did they?
game. Yeah, they.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they continue.
I think they
Apparently,
won.
apparently they had like a team meeting with all the players.
Yeah, I think
that they're
Mbappe
gonna
and-
fight until the end.
And Vinicius
and,
paid like thousands of dollars at a dinner or something. yesterday.
Yeah,
But
it was him and
right
Mbappe.
after that game,
I
they
paid
played.
$1,000.
They played some team lower, like almost at last place, And I think Mbappe scored a penalty in like the 100th minute to win the game. Like they were awful again.
Oh my God.
And I love that like Madrid fans be like, the system is against us. It's like, bro, you are the system. You literally are the system.
It's I hope they looked awful against us. I said this weeks ago, like it was the best Benfica looked, which is an indictment on the team,
They're
the other
playing.
team,
Right,
right? Like,
right.
And when it's the biggest club in the world, you're like, okay, something's very off. You know, I honestly think like Benfica finally has like an identity. I think with them, you know, with Mourinho, it was always going to be capped in terms of like offensive creativity, et cetera, et cetera. But Mourinho was forced to trust Cristiano, Schlederop, Barreiro. We were forced to trust Anísio Cabral. And I think we've been rewarded by that. You know, Berenshea was hurt,
Still
Rios
miss
is hurt.
Too many goals, bro.
It continues to be our
They
case.
miss too many goals, and we both said it against a team like Madrid. If you do that and they go the opposite way, and one chance they're gonna score more than not, right?
We played so much better than them,
Yep.
and to your point, it was at one point they were up, at one point we were only up 3-2, and it felt like we might lose. You know, might actually draw here. You're absolutely right. We squander opportunities. We don't have
Yeah,
that. Like,
and I think you said it. I think over the last month they've gotten way more consistent. They look a lot better. They're creating a lot more chances.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they miss 4 or 5 like big chances a game. And if you do that against Madrid, Mbappe won't do that, and he'll score on the 2 if he has 2
Right.
shots.
And
he'll
now it's
score.
not a one-off game.
Yeah, and you know,
yeah,
you
those
gotta-
boys,
And-
they're going to come to play.
and then it's
Right.
you know you got to worry about like you can't the way Benfica attacked that game and went into that game knowing that they had to score goals. You can't do that. Obviously, in the first leg,
Right,
we
right.
won't do
Try-
that. We won't.
Are you
do
guys
that.
home
Well,
the
you
first
can't.
leg?
That's what I'm
Or
saying. They're
Madrid?
home first leg, and they got to go to Madrid. But you can't. You literally can't because you're going to blow yourself out. And if you allowed 3 goals and you tie 3-3, it's probably not a good result, anyways, right? Because you got to
Yeah.
go back to Spain. So
We'll
gotta
see.
play a
I'm
little smarter.
excited.
It's going to be interesting to see the way game goes. There's some weird games on the other side, like Atletico Madrid and Club Rouge. I think
Which
is
they
gonna
beat
be-
Barca today.
They rocked Barca.
Well, yeah, 4-0, right?
In
The last I
Copa
saw.
del Rey semi.
Copa del Rey.
Is that a two,
That's
game
also a
fixture?
two-legged.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was all 4 goals in the first half. Like, I checked my phone at
Brutal.
halftime of the Arsenal game, and I was like, Madrid's playing.
Yeah, it was concurrent.
Yeah, Madrid was beating them 4-0. And Rui sends me a video of the Barca center back passing the ball back to the keeper, and like bounces over his foot, and he's like,
Oh
"What is
my
this
God.
field?"
Yeah, so the pitch at Atletico is just.
And I
Which is
said,
crazy because they have one of like the newer stadiums in Spain.
"Well, I said the field kind of matches the way they want to play. They just
I mean,
wanna
that's true.
tackle
Yeah.
and
That-
run over
that-
everybody.
that's-
They
that's
don't
a
care,
fair
They don't care if
assessment.
the ball's on the
So
ground.
in
That's a
the,
fair assessment.
in the quote tweets, you have fans like, "Oh, I guess Atletico's not playing on the same pitch." You know that corny. You ever played on a bad pitch
Yeah,
when you were
yeah.
a kid and your
Or
coach
any
is
day
like,
at Stoke.
"Both teams,
Both
are there."
teams are there.
It's embarrassing as a big club to have a pitch that bad. The ball should be gliding on the grass, not bobbling.
Bumping.
Right?
Right.
The keeper should do better, whatever. But I saw a quote tweet with Koke saying like, "You know what? You guys are right. Like our pitch is really bad.
good.
Yeah, it's not good for ball players.
Especially for a brand new stadium.
Yeah,
It's not like
well,
that stadium's like
they don't want it
decades
anyway.
old,
They don't need
you
it.
know?
Seems like MetLife or something.
Right,
like there's
right.
concrete under the turf.
It's all right. They're just gonna slide tackle 65 times a game
And boot the ball up.
and ruin the field anyways if they had it.
True. Maybe that's why they haven't like gotten a new pitch in yet because they just know it'll last like 3 games before they need
Simeone
a
said,
new
"Just
one.
leave it in the box, all patched up."
We'll patch it at the end of the year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot more holes in the field. Don't worry about it.
He's probably the groundskeeper.
Get off the field.
That's too funny. But yeah, I think that's just about it. We ran out of time. Next week we will come back with
Champions
League and Europa League because it's Thursday.
Yeah.
And we'll give a recap, see what happens, and see how Benfica does.
See if Rui comes on his high horse like he did. Or was it
We'll
3
see.
weeks ago? 2 weeks ago?
Personally, like
Spoke about Benfica for 4
I hate
minutes.
Benfica obviously because I'm a Spartacus, but I want them to win because I want Portuguese soccer to do well.
Brandon
you
doesn't
know?
feel that way. Brandon he has clubismo. And
I mean, don't get me wrong.
I'm
I'll
a-
never
I'm a-
celebrate a
I'm a
Benfica goal or a
anti-
Benfica victory. Never celebrate, but it's good for the league.
Come on,
and good for the
don't
country.
you guys want the coefficient to go up or whatever?
Sure.
You're a hater. This guy, when we lost those first 4 games in the Champions League, look at how he's smiling right now.
it was
Every game he's
awesome.
smiling like that.
It was awesome. Hater.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see who's smiling next week. I guess
My Madrid jersey, I'll get it out of the closet. Send a picture of Rui.
we got 2 Madrid jerseys here.
You're honestly just like Gary Neville, just like Wayne
That's so
full of
funny.
hate in your heart.
That's so funny.
That's the worst compliment.
That is the worst compliment.
You're just like Wayne Rooney.
You're just the worst manager ever.
My God.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much for hearing us yap. We'll be back again next week to yap some more with obviously European recap, Prem recap. We'll see any other big games or probably more sackings. So it feels like every week there's a different sacking now.
We are entering the best phase of footy. It's the end of the season, right into the World Cup. It's going to be really good.
Every game counts.
Every
Don't
game
forget.
counts. Be safe, guys.